I could actually host the meeting every time because that's what I'm doing every day these days.
But
It
I
makes
thought,
more sense, Meera.
Huh?
Yeah.
And I'm using Zoom for all my
if you can do that without any compromising any ethical thing, please do. I'm not sure.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no compromise because I have that account personally as well as at
Okay.
work.
Okay,
So,
good. So you are the in charge,
yeah,
and I don't have to
but
mess
the
with it.
only problem may be that sometimes I may not be able to join at this time. So let me let you know ahead of time.
Yes,
Uma.
yes.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay, no
All
problem.
right. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we were, I got a little bit messed up here, but I'll try to come back where I was. Yeah, I think I was trying to, मैं अपनी भूमिका बना रही थी for the next one. Yes, I know where I was. So अर्जुन का doubt था कि sometimes, it seemingly looked like the senses are under control and we are on that path. Everything seems very great, but suddenly we go back to the same thing. And we have all experienced that in our life.
Okay, thank you.
Right? And I was thinking about some other things also. India में जो व्रत वगैरह रखते हैं ना लोग, तो this is just my observation. Huh? Punjab में it's very this thing, no, करवा चौथ and all that. तो पूरे दिन भर नहीं खाएंगे, फिर जब रात को खाएंगे ना इतना इंडल्ज करते कि उसका सारा जो बेनिफिट है ना goes out of the window. You get sick to your stomach because there are 10 तरह के पकवान and a big party and this and that. That's not what it is. If you have done the vrat, then the whole idea is a sense control. So, go back in a more sensible way, but no. This is just one of the gross examples. That's exactly what it is. And the other side that we have seen, even Puranic stories are there. That somebody like Vishwamitra, he also, वो मेनका आई तो वो भी फिसल गया. What is the difference between a person who is like temporarily got the sense control versus this man of realization who is so established in it, nothing can shake him? So then Krishna Bhagavan is going to answer that basically kya hota, and sometimes what happens is because of illness our senses become weak and we don't indulge. बीमारी होती है तो सबसे पहले मुझे खाना नहीं खाना है 3 दिन तक. I'm not going to eat, just eat khichdi and all, very good sense control. Moment it get better, so temporarily it looks like that. फिर एक श्मशान वैराग्य के बारे में we had discussed. Some horrible thing happens, somebody passes away in the family, maybe untimely death and all, and we feel so vairagi, we don't want to indulge with anything, and then again it comes back. Those could be the incidents. So he's going to explain that it is possible that if you just forcibly try to control your senses, in the long run it's not going to work, he says, because उसका जो रस है ना उस ऑब्जेक्ट्स के पीछे वो कहीं छुपा रहता है हमारे माइंड में, और जब राइट अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है ना फिर बूम निकल जाता है बाहर. कई लोग बोलते हैं I'm going to stop smoking and then they do good for 2 years and boom again. Alcoholics का भी ये problem होता है, they control. So then he's saying the only way it can not come back is if you get established in that self. That's the remedy. So if you, by contemplation and all that, you go to that path, then you are successful. But if you just try to sit, even meditation ka bhi yahi hota hai, you just try to sit and concentrate and all that, but you have not contemplated the goal, you have not contemplated why I'm doing it, what is Brahman, it's not going to stick. Same way with sense control, it has to be done with a complete understanding, knowledge and all that, then it stays. That's basically the idea, and then we will see how he's explaining. So verse 59 now. So what we can do is we can keep ourselves on mute and then just say, I will repeat it twice, so the second time you can repeat it in your own home. Vishaya vinivartante, Vishaya vinivartante, Niraharasya dehinaha, Niraharasya dehinaha, Rasavarjam rasopyasya. Rasavarjam rasopyasya. Param drishtva nivartate. Param drishtva nivartate. Vishaya is the objects of senses. Vinivartante, turn away. Niraharasya, abstinent. Dehina, of the men. Rasavarjam, leaving the longing. So the rasavarjam is like वो longing रह जाती है. Rasa is longing. Taste is even. Asya, of his. Param is the supreme. Društva, having seen. Nivartate, turn away. So let's see the English translation of this. Okay, who's gonna read? Anilji is here, right? Anilji, go ahead. You want to read, Anilji? Unmute. You'll have to unmute yourself, or Meeraji will have to do it for him. We can't hear. Now? No.
Do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, if he can, or here, Meenaji can do it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The objects of the senses turn away from the abstinent man, leaving the longing behind. But his longing also turns away on seeing the Supreme.
So basically, you will see how he's going to explain that in the beginning they turn away, but longing remains in his mind. But the longing also goes away seeing the Supreme, meaning once you get that knowledge, why you're doing it, then the longing also goes away. फिर वो उसका मतलब वो desire उसके मन में निकलती नहीं है. That's what it is. फूटता ही नहीं है वो. And then another thing I had told you about roasted seeds, remember? That हमारे जो desires हैं वो रहेंगी, मगर उसको हमने roast कर दिया with the knowledge, fire of knowledge, फिर वो sprout नहीं होता है. So it's not like जो हमारे जन्म जन्मांतर की desire है वो रहती हैं, मगर एक है जो कि अंकुर फूट सकता है और दूसरा अंकुर नहीं फूट सकता, तो वो roasted seed बन जाता है. You know, that's what he's talking about. We'll see. He will explain more. Yes, go ahead.
Without pratyahara or uparati, we can observe cases wherein an individual comes to maintain sense withdrawal from the sense objects due to some physical incapacity or due to some special mental mood of temporary sorrow or misery. In all these cases, though the sense organs come to feel an aversion to the respective objects, their inclinations for these objects are lying somewhere dormant for the time being. Similarly, Arjuna doubts that even in a yogi, the capacity to withdraw from the sense world is also temporary, and that under favorable or sufficiently tempting circumstances, they may again raise their hoods to hiss or to poison. His doubt is answered here.
So see, he's saying whatever I explained, that's what Swamiji is saying, that, okay, they're withdrawn, but then suddenly it comes up. Okay.
From an abstinent person, the sense objects get repelled, no doubt. If you observe the flight of the objects of sensuousness from the shops to their customers, you can understand this point very clearly. They always reach only those who are courting them and are panting to possess them. The wine cellars get emptied when they walk out to replenish the sideboards of the drunkards. Plows, maybe by the smithy, are not purchased by artists and poets, doctors and advocates, but they must necessarily reach the homes of the farmers. Similarly, all sense objects ultimately reach to serve those who are courting them with burning desires. From one who is completely abstinent, sense objects must necessarily get repelled.
So here he's saying a very big scientific fact he's telling. And America is a master of it, like the marketing over here. You know, once we want something, don't talk about the pandemic time, the normal American time. what we want, they will give you in abundance. It will reach your home, it will reach what you want. But if you don't care about it, they're not going to quote, those things won't come to you. And the perfect example is now I think they know when we are on our computers how those advertisements come, that the things that we have purchased in the past, they are the one. This is like such a scientific fact. And Swamiji wrote this before all this came, okay? So what he's trying to say is that अगर तुमने सेंस कंट्रोल कर लिया ना तो वो ऑब्जेक्ट भी भाग जाएगा तुम्हारे पास से. That's what he's saying. It's जो हमको चाहिए वही हमारी लैप में आके गिरता है, because it somehow makes the way to you, you know. And then the other great example is that one family is going for shopping, and you know, the younger people want to, you know, very little kids, they want to go in the game shop. The husband wants to go in the tool shop. The wife wants to go in the sari shop, whatever, you know, just. So basically, we all get attracted only what we want, because that is our desire. Rest, if I go to another shop that I'm not interested, you know, I'm not going to even bother. It'll be such a boring place for me. That's why the little kids, when you take them for some, you know, boring shopping furniture, I remember my little boys, they were like 3 and 5, and every time I would take them, they would start crying. Again, furniture shop. You know, they don't. But if you take them to all day, they will sit in that. So that's what he's talking about. This is scientific fact. So now a person can be temporarily look like the sense objects are getting repelled, but if the rasa is there inside you, one day it can burst, and then that's what he's talking about. Any comment?
But even though the sense objects may temporarily seem to turn away from one who is abstinent, the deep taste for these sense objects ingrained in the mind of the seeker is very difficult to be completely erased. Here Krishna, in his supreme wisdom, assures the seeker that all those mental impressions of sensuous lives lived in the past by the ego from the beginning of the creation to date will be totally erased, or at least made ineffective as roasted seeds, when the seeker transcends the ego and comes to experience the self.
So now you see what he's saying. Once you experience that self, the seed becomes roasted. That means because हमने कई जन्म लिया है, तो हमारे वो impression में कितनी desires हैं कि if you start going after each desire and control them, even from that perspective, think about it. If we try to control all the desires, it will be exercise in futility. Because, you know, हम अगर taste, कई लोग बोलते हैं, okay, I'm not going to eat this food, and, you know, but then his other senses maybe, oh, I have to listen to this song 10 times a day. Again, problem, right? What are we going to do? Like, if one sense we can control, there are 4 others waiting for us. So he's saying that the best path is, you know, going towards the self-realization. Once you are there, automatically everything drops off. That's the Krishna Bhagavan always goes to the highest. You know, he said those other methods are there, but he always steers Arjun to the highest. Go to the highest. Then it may look difficult, but that's the best method according to him. The more we learn about this knowledge, automatically things will keep getting dropped off.
And this is not very difficult to understand, since we know that the objects of sorrow and occasions of tragedy in one plane of consciousness are not available in another plane of awareness. The kingship that I enjoy in my dream does not add even a jot to my dignity when I wake up to realize my insignificant existence. So too my meager existence in the waking state will not debar me from the full kingly glory in my dream kingdom. Similarly, the ego existing now through the waking, dream, and deep sleep states has gathered to itself a dung heap of impressions, all of them purely sensuous. But these are not effective when the same, transcending these 3 planes, comes to experience the plane of God consciousness.
So see how he gave the example of a dream versus us, and then those three states, तीनों में according to him, there are impressions are there. Waking state में तो बहुत ज़्यादा है. We know that in dream also we have impressions from there, and deep sleep statement is like seeds form में है. जो longing वो है. It is not, your connection is broken, that's why you're not doing, but जैसे ही वो connection होता है, boop, it burst out, right? So he's just saying that the one who transcends the ego, just like transcending a dream, once he wakes up from the dream, all the dream things are gone, has no meaning to him at all. And the only, these days I'm watching this, there is one person called Anthony Cheney, Chene, Anthony Cheney production. So he has interviewed all these, I was telling you, near-death experience walon ka. They are all people from different walks of life, but their experience is exactly the same. When they have that divine experience and they come back, they say, my God, we find that whatever people do in this world is so useless, because the main thing that counts is compassion, love, and helping others. There's nothing else in this world. That's what you've come to learn. To spread love, to have compassion in your heart, and that's how you raise your vibration. Everything you do should be that, because if you don't do it, and then each one of them said that they had this life review when they were going through this experience of so-called death. They don't even call it death, they call it life, because they think that one is, consciousness is much more real and all that. And they all talked about consciousness, and they all talked about this, that when you go through the life review, at once you feel every action of yours, how it affected the other person. So you realize their feeling, and then you experience that. And then at that state, you realize your wrong actions and the right, all of that, you realize that. So that's the validation of what Krishna Bhagavan is saying over here, 100%. That, this man of realization, he transcends all that, and he works in the world from that perspective. That's why his senses are under control, because we have this wrong notion that by satisfying the senses, we are going to get happiness. But we might get few little joys here and there, but overindulgence makes it sad again, and all that we already know. It is a very temporary up and down, like a roller coaster ride, he's saying. So if you want a complete bliss, then sense control. So now the question is, well, what do we do? So we are still that little podha here, which needs a little fence around. So it's okay for us to do the sense control, but continue our journey for knowledge. And then the more the knowledge sinks into us deeper and deeper, automatically the sense control will happen. And I think that at our age, you have seen that a lot of things that we enjoyed earlier, we don't care about it. And I think that Neeluji, where are you? Your son wanted to watch that movie, and you don't care about it. But
No.
you're doing it because, okay, that's a different reason why. You are not finding a rust in it, but sometimes you pretend just to make them happy, and that's okay. But that's a good example that how we kind of graduate from all these things. But if you look at yourself, 20, 30 years ago, you were enjoying the same movies too. So yeah, I mean, you have to give them that credit that, hey, this is their age. And some people are advanced in their younger age too. Or some old people also, at 90 also, they still want to do what they did in 20. That's a different story. They have not graduated. But so this is where it is. So any comments?
It's just, it's a different state, and we cannot take from one state to the other state anything. That's what he's telling us in the last paragraph, right? From the dream state, we cannot go to the waking state, can't carry whatever we dreamt into the waking state. Similarly, from these three states, we cannot carry anything to that state. Is that correct?
I will look at it slightly different. You can carry the impressions of your dream in your state if you really think about it. कोई बोलता है, मैंने इतना अच्छा सपना देखा था, I wish that becomes true. उसकी भी desire हो सकती है. All he's saying is the things that are valid in the dream state have no meaning in the waking state. That's what we have to remember. So
Okay.
that perspective is a better one to hold on to,
Okay.
rather than taking something, because usually they say no, we dream of things usually that we know already, उसी का थोड़ा mixture
Right.
करके dream हो जाता है. So that's why instead of what you are saying, we think it this way, that अगर मैं dream में king बन गया और मेरी real life में I'm not a king, तो जब मैं जागूं तो उसकी क्या value है वो king की? It's nothing. I cannot.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
I think
So then, if you meant that, that is correct. That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's more an understanding that I have, because see, one of the thing is that this person who is self-realized, he's still transacting in the world, right? He's still doing everything. He's trying to help people. He's doing everything, but his understanding is so deep about it, and that's why I like these shows that I'm watching, because they become firm in their understanding. There's nothing shakes them anymore, because most of them who went through that near death experience, they had horrendous physical problems. Some of them had, like Anita Murjani, she had the fourth stage cancer. Some people had diseases, some people fainted, some people had accidents, some people that, but they still decided to come back for different reasons. And they said they come back with such a great understanding that the physical pain now doesn't bother them, because firstly they know this is not who I am. See, हम लोग का अभी भी वो लूज ने कम लूज है, मीन्स थोड़ा लूज भी हुआ है, बट वी स्टिल वेरी अटैच टू आवर बॉडी, और एवरीथिंग स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द बॉडी. उनका अटैचमेंट खत्म हो गया बॉडी से. So they only come back to serve. They are not looking at, hey, because they said in reality, why would we want to come back to this, such a meager, sickly body, and I have to do so much to maintain it and all that. So whatever Krishna Bhagavan is saying, they validate it 100%. That hey, we are come here for a purpose now, to help others, to raise my own vibration, to be more loving, to be more this thing. But otherwise, all these things that we run after, it becomes useless for them. They still strive but for a different reason. And they said, if you strive for those good reasons, everything else comes to you. Because one of our problem is the sense control. We run after the senses. Oh, give me more joy, this, that. But we forget the main goal. But what these people are saying, if you have the main goal is in hand, everything, worldly things falls in your lap anyway. That's what it is.
Thank you.
Any other person wants any comment, any wisdom want to share? No? Shall we go to Mandukya? Everybody became very quiet and serious.
No, we're listening. We're listening. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Okay. So,
What I can add is
yeah.
how we can control our senses is more through meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And once you know, in meditation, the bliss of connecting with the God, then you don't want succumb to the weakness of the senses.
Right.
So you know what is the true joy, and the senses joy is only temporary. So then you know the distinction between the two.
Yes. And I think that only one caution that Krishna Bhagavan says about that is that you continue your contemplation and
Yes.
the goal in the meditation, because otherwise the danger is that people just go in the meditation for the sake of meditation and not to purify their mind, because they are enjoying their bliss so much they want to keep going back to it, and that's where it ends and they don't progress. So that's the only caution here, learning this up to this chapter. That's what he cautions about, that you should know the goal. And then of course meditation is a place. That's why a lot of people say that in meditation your seeds get roasted, because it's like meditation is nothing but being close to that consciousness, right? And
Yes.
I think that Osho is the one who gave such a fantastic definition of meditation. He's saying when you are sitting, and being close to God, the first thing you have to do is nothing needs to change in this world. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. and then your mind stops running. Because one of the reasons our mind runs is we want to keep change myself, change this and that. Saying that at that moment this is how you meditate. You completely surrender and say this is. And the messages of these people who came back after near that experience were 100% this. They said, whatever is happening in the world, that's how it's supposed to be. Because it is meant to raise your vibration, to spiritually raise. So sometimes all these things are needed to do that, So, but we have this, we cannot understand this actually. We are constantly want to change things, So that's what.
Yeah, but I want to comment here. You said if you start meditating and if you are not going deeper, then don't even try it.
No, that's not what I'm doing. Sorry, that's not what I meant. All I said was that you should constantly know the goal, why we are meditating, and you have to practice that vivek and vairagya with it. If you don't, because Swamiji Chinmayananji's most famous one of the sentence was, even the stones are meditating for millions of years, they have not become self-realized. Or, and sometimes when he wanted to be a little harsh, he would say, you were an idiot before you were meditating and you were still an idiot after you woke up from it, or not woke up, after you got up from meditation. So he's trying to tell that do it with right understanding and purpose, And then we discuss in this class, a lot of people, they do it just for health benefits and all that. Okay, that's fine for that. But if your goal is self-realization, then you have to, contemplate upon it. All the principles, all the different things. And then even in yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, we discuss that dhyan comes much later. Yam, niyam, pratyahar, all these things come. Pranayam, asan, all these things come before sitting in meditation.
Yes, those are the different stages where you reach, but every effort count. Even if your mind is not under control, and if you sit down and try to meditate every day, even if your mind is wandering around, that's okay. But your mind becomes, at least it's come under discipline that you sit down every day. So you are controlling your mind a little bit day by day. So every effort helps in controlling the mind, which is our ultimate goal to get self-realized. If we want to get self-realized, we have to control our senses, and along with those Gyanendriya and Karmendriya, we have to control the mind, which is the main thing. So
yeah, he's just catching it from this other side. What you're saying is there's no dispute in it. All he's saying is, it's like if you follow the right method, you will have better results. That's all he's saying. And remember, I was thinking about this thing, Kamalaji, now that you mentioned, one of the things that we were discussing is how we get anxious, right? कि कब मिलेगा मुझे, मैं इतनी मेहनत कर रही हूँ ये वो, right? So what was the first principle that Krishna Bhagwan said about karma yoga? Think about it, Kamalaji. What did he say? When you are doing the action, don't worry about the results. And immediately we are already shooting that down by saying, कब मिलेगा मुझे, कब मिलेगा. I've not even followed the first principle. See that? How we get catch 22? We may be thinking, yes, but the moment I sit with the intention, oh my God, today my meditation has to be good and I have to progress, you've shot the first principle down. So
I don't know how do I agree with that, because by putting this energy, I'm intensifying my effort. That because if you have to achieve some goal, you have to put all your energy to be there. So my efforts are like, I'm intensifying my efforts so that I can achieve this goal which I want.
Okay, I'll give you another example. Maybe because I kind of learn more from example. Somebody said it's like when you don't have a purity of mind and you're not working towards that and you sitting in meditation, it's something like trying to change a tire with like a small pin. Okay, are we going to be successful? No, we need right tools to be successful. So I think what you are saying is, I'm not denying that everybody can sit in meditation and all that, but if our minds are wandering, then rest of the day we have to practice karma yoga. Then next day it will be better. That's all I'm saying. That's all Krishna Bhagwan is saying. I'm not even saying it. I'm bringing to you what Krishna Bhagwan is saying. So yeah, that's all it is. It's not, nobody's saying that don't change the tire, but make your tools right. So bring a wrench, and wrench is like a purified mind. More it will get purified. That's
I
all.
want to clarify the Kamala's point that you can sit in meditation, but don't have any expectation that you're going to get something out of meditation. Just leave it to God. Whatever He will give you as prasad.